iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to race number 2 of the American Sim Racing Pro Late Models. Tonight, we are at the Port Royal Speedway for the Hubbco 50. Last week, we saw Trevor Mattingly pick up the first win of the season in that 13 machine. Mattingly has been on a roll since the recruitment races and all races he's been in. He has been the car to beat in that 13 machine. Also in the podium last week, it was Michael Carter in the 15 and Jacob Lassiter in the 151 machine. So can they do anything to stop Mattingly this week? Right now, Mattingly sits P number 2 in the standings for a practice here. Michael Carter picked up heat win number 1 last week. Trevor Mattingly picked up heat win number 2, and heat 3 went to Tanner Hutchins. We'll see if any of those guys can repeat in the heat wins and who will come out on top for race number 2, presented by Hubbco Metal Fab. A little info about Hubbco Metal Fab. If you're looking for any Black Friday deals right now, they are having a 15% off sale on all their products. They have some pretty sweet stuff, including a forklift attachment to your engine hoist lift. That looks pretty sweet, folks. I'm checking it out right now on the YouTube chat land. Also, the body roller for some metal work, as well as the Hubbco scissor lift for in the pits. You know, all those dirt guys love those scissor lifts at the track, and Hubbco makes a pretty sweet one. As we get ready for qualifying here at the Port Royal Speedway, we'll take a look at some drivers out on track. We'll take a look at the 13 machine of Trevor Mattingly, the man that's been unstoppable so far. We'll see if he can make it 2 in a row. But at the start-finish line here, the 13 machine will start his first time lap here at Port Royal. As you can see, folks, the track already worn on in a little bit from these practice. These guys trying to find the best line. Right now, it's still going to be at the top, but I heard a little rumor from the track prep guys that we may see some guys start to work towards the middle of the speedway for when it comes time for the race. Mattingly right now quickest on the board in that 13 machine with an 18.62 for lap number 1. We'll see if he can improve that for lap number 2. As you see, he's already way against that top side in that slick stuff a little bit, but of course keeping his foot in it. This time by Mattingly improves that lap time with a 15.59. So Mattingly, the time to be in the 13 machine. We'll check out the 78 machine of Michael Guerin out there on the speedway. He finishes his first lap at the bottom of the time and scoring. We'll see if he can improve that lap time here for lap number 2 for the 78 machine of Michael Guerin. As he heads through 3 and 4 for the final time here in qualifying, Guerin will head across the line with not improving that lap time. He stays P number 15. Now we look at the 16 of Noah Boucher. Gets the wall pretty good in 3 and 4, coming for his first time lap. You can already see a little bit of damage to that right rear of the 16 machine as he looks to start his first time lap. Very sideways at the apex. That's going to kill a little bit of the momentum for the 16 machine. We'll see if he can improve that here in 3 and 4. Looks a little bit better, folks. He comes off very low, though. We'll see what Boucher can do at the start finish line. The 16 machine will go P17 with a 19.65. One of the men we got to keep an eye on. Jacob Lassiter, the last season champion for the Pro Late Models. He will start his lap as he heads through 1 and 2. He doesn't like it. He's going to reset, so that's going to end his lap time here as we take a look. Try and find some cars out on the speedway. Looks like no one else really out there doing some laps as Ricky LeDuc puts the 196 machine P number 2. Ricky LeDuc with a great qualifying effort there. That will put him P2. P3 right now is Eric Lake in that 05 machine. Michael Carter P4. Brandon Marlowe in P5 to round out qualifying as Lassiter only puts it P11. And it looks like Bobby Mattingly able to improve his lap time. He'll go to P number 6 as that looks like that will probably do it here for the American Sim Racing Club Port Royal qualifying, folks. As we get ready to head over to our first round of qualifying, or heat races, excuse me. Looks like Trevor Mattingly will get the job done and pick up the quick time here at Port Royal. As with some time, we'll go over some race information here for the Pro Late Model Series here from the American Sim Racing Club. We're looking at a half-mile dirt oval tonight, and it's going to be a fun one. Long straightaways, so these guys really got to make sure they put the power down, get those cars straight, and really use as much traction as they can get because a lot of moves can be made. A lot of slide jobs coming here tonight with this racing surface. And, of course, we got to thank all the sponsors, including the main one tonight being Hubbco Metal Fab. Of course, we got to give a shout-out to AJ's Auto Detailing, QuickTime Motorsports Media, Pay to Win Setups, Race1.us, and the RC Pro Shop. If you're interested in checking out, learning more about this league, be sure to check them out at the AmericanSimRacingClub.com. As we get ready to go over to our race formats, we got 3 heat races here tonight. Looks like Trevor Mattingly will lead the way for heat race number 1 in the 13 machine, and that will extend his points lead. Right now, coming into tonight, Mattingly has a 1-point lead over the 15 machine of Michael Guerin. Excuse me. As we get ready to run through tonight's heat race number 1 starting order. Starting on the pole is the 13 machine of Trevor Mattingly. Starting to his outside is Eric Lake in the 05 machine. Row number 2 is Brandon Marlowe in the 37 with Dave Payton in the 38 machine. Row number 3 is Tanner Hutchins in the 04 with Blake Steele in the 12. Starting 7th is Stephen Hoffman in the 86 machine with Nathan Henry in the 59 in 7th. Stephen Hoffman is starting 8th. Starting 9th and rounding out heat race number 1 is Michael Guerin. It looks like Franklin Evans does not make the call here tonight for heat race number 1. And I believe I was mistaken, folks, was just informed. We are doing 2 heat races here tonight, so Trevor Mattingly will lead us to green in heat race number 1. As we get ready for the wave lap for heat race number 1. Be sure to wave to your favorite drivers out there. We got a lot of good pro late models out here in this field here tonight. A lot of sweet looking cars as we get ready to throw down for 8 laps to determine some feature starting order as well as those all important heat race points. As Trevor Mattingly will lead us to green. Eric Lake in second. Marlowe third. Peyton in fourth. As the iRacing pace truck heads off into turns 3 and 4, we now wait for the 13 machine to jump on the loud pedal. He does just that. We go green flag racing here for heat race number 1. As we see the field head down into turn number 1. Everyone making their way. Eric Lake right up against the wall. Marlowe trying to make that bottom side work as they head into turn number 3. We see, I believe, the 04 machine struggling a little bit on that inside line. We'll see if he can get that thing corralled and get that thing where he needs to be out on the speedway. As Tanner Hutchins now falls back to the 6th position out there on the speedway. Everyone tries to pretty much get single filed on out. As Eric Lake into the wall in 3 and 4. One car up and over. I believe that's the 38 machine of Dave Payne on his lid down the backstretch. So this will bring us to our first caution of the night, and we'll take a look at the replay. But Dave Payne goes up and over to bring out our first yellow of the night, as we'll take a look at the replay here. And I believe it started with Eric Lake into the wall, everyone trying to take evasive maneuver, and it looks like Blake Steele got underneath Dave Payne. Up and over he goes. Blake Steele, heavy contact into the inside wall. Same with Tanner Hutchins, a little bit of contact there. But we'll take a look one more time at the replay here as Dave Payne does go up and over on the speedway. We'll ride on board with the 12 machine of Blake Steele, see what he saw, as I don't think we'll see Eric Lake in the wall at all. Yeah, he doesn't even know he's slowing on down. And then Dave Payne up and over, and then heavy contact to that inside wall. So a few cars out here early in this heat race. Luckily, they can get back out there for the feature when it's all said and done, but in this time we'll get ready for the Delaware double restart here. That means the leader starting out there in front. Second place gets choice high or low. Third place has to line up wherever. Second does not. And then everyone else files on in as iRacing tells them. Looks like Eric Lake will take the inside, or outside, excuse me. That'll put Brandon Marlowe on the inside, and we'll double them on up behind and get ready to go back racing here. As the iRacing pace truck heads off of pit road, we'll get ready to go back green flag racing for heat race number 1 here at Port Royal, sponsored by Hubbco Metal Fabrication, as we wait for Trevor Mattingly to jump on the loud pedal here. He does just that. We go back to green flag racing action here. We'll see if Marlowe can get clear of Eric Lake heading into turn number 1. It looks like he will. He'll be able to slide up in front of the 5 machine. Now we'll see what kind of run Eric Lake can get on off. Had to wait a little bit. Contact between Nathan Henry and, oh man, one car goes around on the backstretch. I believe that's the 86 machine of Steve Hoffman, and that will bring out the second caution of the night. We'll take a look at the replay here, but it looked like some good old door banging down the back straightaway. And it looks like the 28 on the car are 86 in the scoring, with the worst end of that deal. As we look down the backstretch, Nate Henry trying to keep it off the wall, bounce on in it, then gets a little bit of help from Tanner Hutchins. And then the 28 machine, heavy contact into that inside wall. We'll take a look one more time at the replay, maybe ride on board with the 28 machine here. As we look towards the back here, and you'll see a little bit of contact there, and then here comes some heavy contact from the right side, and oh man, big time contact into that inside wall. That 86 machine with a significant damage here in heat race number 1. And as old Darrell Waltrip says, cautions breed cautions, as we are now under our second yellow flag here for heat race number 1. As we get ready for another Delaware double restart, we'll see if Marlowe decides to pick the outside or the inside line. Marlowe got a great start on that inside, able to clear Eric Lake heading into turn number 1. We'll see if he elects that preferred outside lane, and it looks like he will. So that will give Eric Lake to maybe do the same as the 37 machine into turn number 1. We'll have to see what kind of restarts these guys can do. As the top 5 looking like the following: Mattingly, Marlowe, Lake, Hutchins, and it looks like one car maybe having some technical issues as we get ready to go green. As we are back under yellow flag, we had to get our lineup order ready, as one car having a little bit of technical difficulties right there coming to green. So we got them all lined up how they should be. Race control having to work very quickly there, but we got them all lined up. And next time by, we'll be going back green flag racing here for heat race number 1 for the Hubbco Metal Fabrication 50 at Port Royal. As the iRacing pace truck now down pit road, lights are off. Mattingly jumps on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing action here. Eric Lake door to door with Marlowe heading into turn number 1, but not enough. We'll see Eric Lake probably slide on up to that top lane. He's got to do that quickly if he wants to shut the door on Tanner Hutchins, and he'll do just that here as we see them all heading into turn number 3 and 4. Down the front stretch they come. A little bit of contact in the back. I think Nate Henry into the wall with Dave Payne able to get on around. Dave Payne was able to get back in there. Now Blake Steele looks to the top side of Hutchins, who is able to slide job Eric Lake. So third place, the battle is on between these cars here, as Eric Lake able to not quite clear the slide job. So that would give the advantage to Hutchins. Now Blake Steele will try and go to the top side and get around that X5 machine of Eric Lake, who's trying to make that middle line work. But this time for Trevor Mattingly, we'll see the white flag one more lap here in heat race number 1, as everyone able to single file on out, get to that top side, as Dave Payne trying to catch that 78 machine. But off of turn number 4, Trevor Mattingly picks up another heat win. He gets the job done in heat race number 1. Brandon Marlowe will bring it home second. Tanner Hutchins rounds out the top 3 for heat race number 1. As we get ready now to check out heat race number 2. As we get ready to go to heat race number 2, Ricky LeDuc in the 196 machine will lead us to green. Michael Carter in the 15 will start to his outside. Starting third is Bobby Mattingly, Trevor Mattingly's uncle out there, so we'll have to see how the Mattingly duo can do. Starting in fourth is Jason Racing Griffith in the 33 machine. Starting in fifth is Anthony Thompson in the 311 machine. Jacob Lassiter in the 151 will start sixth. Ron the Hitman Hart in the 51 seventh. Eighth is Aaron Kirby in the 91. And rounding out heat race number 2 is Noah Boucher in the 16 machine. As we got another stellar field of pro late models for heat race number 2. Ricky LeDuc looking to pick up his first heat win of the season in the 196 machine out there in front. Michael Carter looking to pick up another heat win in the 15 machine. Who will get the job done, or will it be someone deeper in this field? We'll find out here in one more lap to start our race in action here. It's a wave lap for heat number 2 as they get past the grandstands out on the front stretch. The lights are off on the iRacing pace car. So next time by, we are going green flag racing. As in 3 and 4, we now wait for the 196 machine of Ricky LeDuc. He jumps on it early. We go green flag racing here for heat race number 2 here at Port Royal. As Ricky LeDuc leads the way, Michael Carter out there on the top side. Bobby Mattingly trying to make that inside work in that black number 3 machine. He's trying to find some grip in that middle. As right now this track is topside dominant. One car in the watch, the 33 machine. Lassiter able to get on around in the 51, or the 151, as Jason Griffith continued to get sideways in that 33 machine. He's trying to keep that car underneath him and not get swallowed up by the field behind him. Noah Boucher, big time in the wall. Heavy contact with him and Ron Hart. They go on around. This brings out the yellow flag on the speedway here as Ron Hart and Noah Boucher make contact on the front stretch. As we'll take a look at the replay here. Coming off of turn number 4, it's contact between the 16 and the 51 machine as they try and get themselves sorted on out. You see the 16 get in the wall there, gets a push, jumps the cushion. Ron Hart not realizing he's that slow, and they make some pretty significant contact, and Ron Hart gets heavy contact with that outside wall. That ricochets Boucher into that inside wall to make the final contact of that wreck. As we are under yellow flag here for the first time in heat race number 2. We try and get them all sorted on out. But Ricky LeDuc looking pretty sporty in that 196 machine out there in front. Michael Carter second. Bobby Mattingly has made it up into the 3rd position. Jacob Lassiter all the way up into the 4th position right now. It looks like Jason Griffith able to hang on to the 5th position when it's all said and done. As these guys are all racing here for the points, because halfway through the season we got an all-star race top 10 in points locked into that show that will be broadcasted right after New Year's, and award some prizes to these drivers, whoever can get the job done in that race. So a lot to race for, as well as at the end of the season, of course, who can be the champion of the ASRC Pro Late Model Series. Can Lassiter defend his title, or will we have Mattingly just put on a clinic all season long? He's looking pretty sporty here in race number 2. He picked up the heat win. We'll see who picks up the heat win here in race number 2. As Ricky LeDuc out there by himself out front. Michael Carter elects to take the high side as we get ready to go back. Green flag race in action for heat race number 2. At the start finish line, we will see 5 laps to go as Ricky LeDuc jumps on the loud pedal and contact further on back. It looks like Jason Griffith may have gotten some help, maybe, but he is very slow off that as Lassiter tries to make the high side work. Maybe gets the door shut on him by Mattingly, as Mattingly able to hang on to that 3rd position after starting on that inside line. And we see the field heading towards us here. Everyone up into that top lane, trying to we're in that top side, but that is definitely the place to be. Keep that thing up on the top, keep that momentum up, and try and keep it off the wall as best as you can. As Ricky LeDuc a little bit into the wall in 1 and 2, but able to keep that thing out there in front as he is flirting right with that wall. I mean, you can't get too much higher than this 196 machine out there in front this time by for heat race number 2. We see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go. LeDuc leads over Carter and Mattingly in 3rd position here as everyone single filed on out a little bit further back. Now Will Boucher with that damaged 16 machine trying to get around the 33 of Jason Griffith. But out there in front, white flag for these guys. Ricky LeDuc last time by, best lap of heat race number 2. Now 196 machine looking very strong. Does he have anything for Trevor Mattingly? But after turn number 4, Ricky LeDuc gets the job done. He picks up heat win number 2 and adds a heat win to the stats for his season. Michael Carter finishes in 2nd. Bobby Mattingly finishes in P number 3. As that will complete heat race number 2. Now we'll get ready for our 50-lap main event presented by Hubbco Metal Fabrications. As we get ready to do battle for 50 laps out here on the Speedway. We'll run through tonight's starting order for our 50-lap main event. Trevor Mattingly will start on the pole in the 13T. Starting to his outside is Ricky LeDuc in the 96 machine. Starting in the 3rd position is Brandon Marlowe in the 37. To his outside in 4th is Michael Carter in the 15 machine. Starting in P number 5 is Tanner Hutchin in the 04, with Bobby Mattingly starting 6th in the 3. 7th is Blake Steele in the 12. 8th is Jacob Lassiter in the 151. 9th is Eric Lake in the 05 or the X5. And rounding out the top 10 is Anthony Thompson in the 311. 11th is Michael Guerin in the 78. 12th goes to Ron Hart in the 51. 13th is Dave Payton in the 38. 14th, Aaron Kirby in the 91. 15th is Nathan Henry in the 59. 16th is racing Jason Griffith in the 33. Steve Hoffman in the 86 will start 17th. 18th goes to Noah Boucher in the 16th. And rounding out the field, I believe he also missed the call for the feature event, it's Franklin Evans in the 69 machine. As that will do it for our starting order here tonight. And it also looks like Stephen Hoffman does not make the call as well. So we'll have a 17-car main event when it's all said and done, as we have a lot of good super or pro late models out here tonight on the Speedway. As we look through all the cars out there on the Speedway, let us know in the YouTube chat lands who you're rooting for, who you're cheering on out there, who you're watching for. As Steve was able to get back in, so he'll be starting from the pit lane. You see his car out there in the pit lane. Did end up missing. As we get ready to go to green flag racing action. As that time by, folks, was the wave lap. Next time by, we'll be going green flag racing action here as the iRacing pace truck makes his way down pit road, and we get ready to go to green flag racing action for the Hubbco 50 here at Port Royal. We'll see if Trevor Mattingly can keep his dominance up or if another driver can challenge him, as Mattingly will lead us to green off of turn number 4. The 13T jumps on the loud pedal here. We go green flag racing action for our 50-lap main event. As Trevor Mattingly already jumps to that top side, Ricky LeDuc able to follow suit. Marlowe able to slide on up in front of Michael Carter. Our first side-by-side battle is Tanner Hutchins trying to get that inside to work over Bobby Mattingly, as everyone makes it through for lap number 1 a little bit further back. Almost 3 wide race in action with Aaron Kirby trying to get through the front. He was one of the biggest movers last week. We'll see if he can do the same this week, but the front 2 have checked on out with Trevor Mattingly and Ricky LeDuc. As off of turn number 4 the field comes, everyone looking pretty solid when it's all said and done. As we look at the X5 machine of Eric Lake, currently running in the 9th position, trying to get a hold of that X5 machine. We saw him be the only car really trying to, his contact further on back to the back bumper of the 31, and cars going up and over further on back. One car on his lid, Noah Boucher, I believe Jason Griffith, also another car up and over when it's all said and done. And this will bring out our first yellow flag here for the feature event. We'll take a look at the replay here. This happened a little bit further on up with, I believe, the 31 or the 311 machine of Anthony Thompson. He gets a little bit, he has to check up just a little for Eric Lake. Aaron Kirby, not realizing that checkup, gets into the back of him, but a little bit further back, we got the wreck continuing, and it looks like 2 cars up and over, one being the 33, the other being the 16 machine of Noah Boucher. So we'll take a look here from the back bumper of the 16 machine of Noah Boucher. We'll see what happened to him. I think he gets some help from the 59 of Nathan Henry with these shovel noses. Yeah, you see him up top, get on the binders hard here, and those shovel noses sends that car right up and over. So as we try and get everything sorted on out, as we'll be right back to commercial break. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go anywhere, folks. As we get everything sorted on out, Trevor Mattingly will lead us back to green as we get ready for our first Delaware double file restart here for the feature event. Geez, if I could remember what it is. As Trevor Mattingly out front by himself, looks like Ricky LeDuc will elect to restart on the top side. That'll put Brandon Marlowe in the 37 machine down low, and the rest of the field will slot on in. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing action, 4 laps complete of the 50. Trevor Mattingly jumps on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing action here at Port Royal. Looks like everyone able to get away cleanly here as the field goes flying by down the front stretch. We'll see him come flying by on the back stretch as well, as Mattingly leads the point over this field. As Brandon Marlowe under fire from Michael Carter. These guys trying to duke it on out. Michael Carter does not get the run off at turn number 4. He'll slide on into that top side as Bobby Mattingly continues to try and work that inside, now on the 151 or the 51 on the car of Jacob Laster. Laster are making up some spots here in the main event as well. one of the biggest movers, up 3 positions from where he started. He finds himself right now in the top 5 as we look on board with Bobby Mattingly trying to make that inside work. And you can see that outside line slicking on up more and more. So we'll have to see when that outside line dies and when that inside line or that middle line starts to come in, as we once again see Michael Carter try and put the moves on Brandon Marlowe. He slides right in front of Jacob Lassiter, who has to check up a little bit down the backstretch. Bobby Mattingly right there. Same with Tanner Hutchins. These guys right on top of each other as they head down the front stretch here. A little bit further back, 3 wide race in action. Michael Guerin, Ron Hart with a big time slide down the front stretch. I think he got a piece of that inside wall, but that has quickly dissolved that battle. We'll see if the 51 of Ron Hart can catch those drivers in front of him, as the field has spread on out here for the most part. But Bobby Mattingly continues to try and work over Jacob Lassiter here for that 5th position. Out front, Trevor Mattingly leads the way with a commanding lead, now almost 3/4 of a second out in front over Ricky LeDuc in that 196 machine. We go back to that battle for the 5th place on the speedway. Bobby Mattingly continues to try and make it work. He's able to slide up in front of Lassiter off of turn number 4. Lassiter will cross him on over. We'll probably try and do the same here as the 151 machine of Lassiter. Big time slide job here in 1 and 2. Now they'll cross back over and probably do the same here in 3 and 4, as Mattingly able to do that. Also in front, Michael Carter and Brandon Marlowe now starting to trade blows for that 3rd position. Michael Carter able to get on in front. Marlowe with a little bit of a bobble at the apex. Contact down the backstretch, as Michael Carter able to take away that 3rd position from Brandon Marlowe, who now resides in the 4th position. But this battle for 5th is long from over, as Lassiter will now pull the slider, run the middle line here. He's searching for some traction. There's one car in the wall, big time. Cars go around down the backstretch. I believe Brandon Marlowe up and over down the backstretch. He will do a couple barrels. Blake Steele will make some contact. And that was the battle for the 3rd position. And you can see that rear end all out of sorts for Brandon Marlowe. His race will probably be over when it's all said and done, as we'll try and take a look at the turn 3 replay here down the backstretch. You see the 15 machine in the wall down the backstretch. He gets some contact from Marlowe, tries to save it. Marlowe gets some help with the 15 trying to save it. Bobby Mattingly goes on evasive maneuver, and Brandon Marlowe up and over for when it's all said and done. That rear end all out of sorts will ride on board with the front end of Brandon Marlowe. And a little bit of contact. You see the 16 try and hold on to it of Michael Carter. He loses it. And then we'll see, with some help to the back bumper from Bobby Mattingly, and up and over this 37 car goes. And he takes a wild ride. So we'll take a look one more time at the wreck, but we'll ride on board with Blake Steele in the 12 machine and see what he had to see. As down the backstretch, you see some cars out of sorts, and then all of a sudden you'll see a car pop up in front. There's the 37 machine, and he'll go up and over right in front of Blake Steele. He tries to get on the binders, gets a piece of the wall, and you see that 37 machine tumbling down the speedway in turn number 3. And we'll go back to live here as the field gets themselves mostly sorted on out. You see some damage to the front end of that 3 car, missing that right front bumper cover of Bobby Mattingly. Also, Michael Carter with some damage to that 15 machine. But we'll have to see how that affects the handling of that race car. But out in front, Trevor Mattingly continues to lead the way here, as at the start-finish line we'll look to complete lap 15 of 50. Trevor Mattingly jumps on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing action here, as Mattingly gets away with a great start out there in front. Michael Carter tries to make that inside work, as we get a caution quickly into turn number 3. Another car up and over. He lands on his wheels. That's a 59 machine of Nathan Henry. As we get a quick yellow flag for the third time here tonight. We'll take a look at the replay here to try and figure out what happened. I believe the X5 machine of Eric Lake was involved. So we'll take a look at the replay here to see what happened. As a little bit of contact down the front stretch. And did the 91 get some help into the X5? He goes around early. Michael Guerin tries to get on the binders. Same with Boucher. And up and over goes the 59 machine of Nathan Henry for a slow roll. So we'll take a look one more time at the replay. Maybe a little bit further back in the wreck to see what happened to that 59 machine. As everyone's stacking on up on a restart, trying to get as much of an advantage as they can. And heading into turn number 1, you see all sorts of contact into turn number 1. And then we'll see some drivers not able to woe it on up. It's very hard to get these cars slowed down here with these pro late models on dirt. And Nate Henry not quite up and over, but all 4 wheels leaving the surface, but able to end up back on all 4. As we are under our third yellow flag here of the night. As this time by, we'll get the Delaware double 1-2 green, as we're only able to get 1 lap in there. Trevor Mattingly leads the way as the skies start to darken as night falls here at the Port Royal Speedway. Ricky LeDuc will start in the outside row. That will put Michael Carter once again on that inside line for another restart as we get ready to go back to racing action. 15 laps down, 35 to go as we wait for the 13 machine of Mattingly. He jumps on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing action here off of turn number 4. Looks like everyone a little bit more civil heading into turn number 1 as Michael Carter goes all the way down to that inside line, tries to slide up in front of LeDuc. Contact between Lassiter and Tanner Hutchins. Somehow no one gets help, but one car around on the back. That is Steve Hoffman, who does end up spinning. And this will bring out our 4th yellow flag here and I believe our 3rd consecutive caution. We saw a lot of contact down the backstretch. So we'll see what happened to bring out this 4th yellow of the night as we get some 3, almost 4 wide racing action. And oh man, contact between the 28 or the 86 and the 331. Not leaving enough room for everyone, but ends up getting turned down the backstretch. And that will be the end of that. But all through this backstretch, Lassiter, you see, big time sideways out of the groove. They had to check up big time up there. Then further on back, you see a lot of check up there. But the overall caution was because that bumper lockup between the 86 and the 311 machine. And that will bring out our 4th yellow of the night as Trevor Mattingly continues to lead the way in the 13T machine. He has led every lap of this feature event, led every lap in the heat race, and picked up the heat win. We'll see if anyone can challenge that 13T machine, but he's looking very sporty in that car, looking very clean compared to some of the cars right behind him. As once again, we cross the start finish line for the Delaware double file restart. Once again, Ricky LeDuc elects to take that high side. Michael Carter in that beat up 15 machine will take that inside line. Bobby Mattingly will restart in the 5th position. Lassiter will restart in the 4th position as we get ready to go back to green flag racing action. As here in 3 and 4, Trevor Mattingly once again jumps on the loud pedal. We go back green flag racing action here at Port Royal. We'll have to see if everyone can get themselves sorted on out. Once again, Michael Carter goes to that bottom side, not quite able to clear the 96 machine as we get another yellow flag. Some 3 wide racing action, but 1 car up and over. That's the 33 machine of Jason Racing Griffith as he goes to pit road. And we'll take a look here at the replay here on the start. Already almost 3 wide racing action as Ron Hart tries to get on around. But I believe the caution starts right about here. The 33 of Griffith trying to get through the slick stuff. Ron Hart with just a slight bumper tag. Both cars go around and Griffith goes up and over as he gets stuck on his lid. So just very slight contact was enough to put the 33 machine up and around, as we'll try and take a look right on board with the back bumper of the 33 machine, and we'll see some very slight contact. You see him get very sideways in the slick and just slight contact, and with those shovel noses, that sends the 33 machine up and over he goes, and we lose a GoPro on the back bumper. On the roof of the 33 machine. So as we will go single file race in action, try and get these guys sorted on out, try and get a few laps under their belts to turn them back loose. So we'll see a single file restart here. Everyone strung on out. Single file as this time by. We'll see the 1 to go to try and go back green flag race in action, as we've had some consecutive cautions here for race number 2 at the Port Royal Speedway. As a field single file here, we wait now for the 13T of Trevor Mattingly. He jumps on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag race in action here as everyone's single filed on out. We'll see if we can get some green flag runs in as Ricky LeDuc looks to the inside of the 13T. Not quite there. Gets a piece of the wall. This opens up the door for Jacob Lassiter, who will now take over the second position. Will slide on up in front of Ricky LeDuc. So that move by the 196 not paying on off, but contact, they somehow keep it straight. Ricky LeDuc able to slide back the 151 of Jacob Lassiter. Now Michael Carter joins the action, but big time junk down the backstretch. Some cars up and over. I believe that was Blake Steele that may have left the racing surface for a second, as we are under our 6th yellow here at the Port Royal Speedway. We'll take a look here. As we'll take a look down the backstretch here between the 04 machine and the 12 coming off of turn number 4. We see a little bit of contact there, and not sure if Tanner didn't leave enough room for the 12, and the 12 pirouetting up and over, but he somehow ends up back on all 4, and Michael Guerin, big time hit to the back of the 04 machine. We'll take a look maybe at a different replay, see if the 04 machine maybe didn't leave enough room, or if the 12, wasn't quite there, as that's a tough one to call. The 12 definitely there now, and the 04 trying to give him room, but definitely not quite enough, and that 12 pirouetting on the right front up and over, and Guerin comes in with a big hit to the back bumper of that 00 or 04 machine in the timing and scoring. As you can see, heavy damage to the back bumper of that car with no spoiler on it now. As we are under our 6th yellow of the race here at Port Royal Speedway. Once again, we'll do a single file restart. We didn't get enough green flag laps for race control to turn them on loose. But this time by at the start finish line, we'll see the 1 to go. Next time by, we'll be going green flag race in action here on lap number 20 of 50. Still 30 laps to go. We're not even halfway done with this race yet, folks. As at the time of the caution and last time at the start-finish line, Lassiter was in front of LeDuc for that second position. So Lassiter will start second, LeDuc in third, Carter in fourth, and Bobby Mattingly rounds out the top 5 here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing action. We wait for the 13 who jumps on the loud pedal, and we go back to green flag racing action here at Port Royal. As Lassiter will keep that thing against the wall. LeDuc not making the same mistake as last time. He'll stay to the top side. One car looking to the inside. That's the 91 of Aaron Kirby, trying to make a move on his teammate of Bobby Mattingly. A little bit further back, we got some cars dicing it on up. Eric Lake looking to the inside of Michael Guerin in that 78 machine. As Guerin big time sideways in the slick. Somehow Blake Steele does not make contact with the back bumper of that 78 machine, as now they go 3 wide here and 3 and 4 as Blake Steele makes the move to the outside. Now it's Stephen Hoffman trying to get on around who we're looking at here. As down the backstretch they come, Stephen Hoffman continues to try and work over Guerin there for. As we look up a little bit further on the speedway, we got a few battles, one being Anthony Thompson in this 311 machine with Dave Payne in the 38 machine. As Dave Payne currently runs in the 7th position up there on the top side. Also a little bit further up, Aaron Kirby trying to make the move on Bobby Mattingly. Inside the top 5, they do battle. As that top side looking very tough. You see Blake Steele get contact with that outside wall as everyone's starting to make their way further down on the speedway. Oh, Anthony Thompson able to slide in front of Dave Payne. He has to get on the brakes a little bit. That opens up the door for Blake Steele in the 12 machine as Steele continues to rip that top side here. A little bit further up, Kirby, Bobby Mattingly, and Michael Carter all in an intense battle from 4th on back as they are almost 3 wide here. As this time by, we'll see 25 laps to go for race number 2, presented by Hubbco Metal Fabrications. Down the backstretch, Michael Carter makes some contact with the outside wall. Bobby Mattingly, of course, ripping that top side with that damaged number 3 car. He's able to hang on to 4th. Now the battle for the top 5 might be between Aaron Kirby and Michael Carter in the 15 machine. As Bobby Mattingly goes to that middle line trying to make something work. This could open up the door for Carter as Blake Steele has come from nowhere. He has entered this battle. He's been working that top side awesomely as Bobby Mattingly into the wall. He gets some help from Blake Steele. Somehow they keep it straight as they slide in front of the field. Dave Payne gets a piece of the action as they stay facing the right way. We stay green as Bobby Mattingly with a ton of positions lost when it's all said and done. Dave Payne also losing quite a few spots, but Michael Carter now able to get around Aaron Kirby for the 4th position. Kirby now finds himself in 5th. Anthony Thompson in the 6th position with Blake Steele losing some positions with that contact as well. He finds himself in the 6th position, able to get around Anthony Thompson. Maybe a little bit of contact between the two. We'll have to see if anything evolves from that, because maybe some contact. But out there in front, all by himself, Trevor Mattingly with a 2.5 second lead over this field. We got to ride on board with this guy and see what he is doing to make this car so fast as we ride on board here with our race leader. Just hear him working that wheel. Man, that is impressive. As I'll stop talking and we can listen to the magic of our race leader for a lap around Port Royal Speedway. And I tell you what, folks, our race leader making that look so easy out there. That's a lot harder than what I can do on my own, because he's making it look like he's on a Sunday cruise. But we look back for the battle for second between Ricky LeDuc and Jacob Laster. LeDuc with a slide job on Laster. Laster able to cross him on over down the front stretch. They come side by side. Laster will give a slide job of his own as he's able to get in front of LeDuc. LeDuc right on his back bumper will try another slide job here in 3 and 4. Able to get it done. Laster will cross him on over and down the front stretch. They come side by side. Laster actually clear by the time they head to 1, but he'll engage in that slider line and close the door on LeDuc. These guys doing battle for the second position as Mattingly has checked on out now, almost to a 4-second lead over these drivers, especially with them slide jobbing each other. That's only slowing them down and letting this race leader get further and further away as LeDuc now gives the slider in 1 and 2. Laster a little bit further behind this time. He slides on in, will follow the 96 machine. So Ricky LeDuc able to get back into the second position. We look a little bit further in the field. Right now, the biggest mover of the feature event, Stephen Hoffman in the 86 or the 28 on his car, up 10 positions from where he started. He's looking pretty sporty in the middle of this race. As we look through the field here, and everyone kind of spaced on out. No one really doing any sort of battling at the moment, as LeDuc able to really run away from Lassiter when it's all said and done. Blake Steele now to the back bumper of Michael Carter. This could be a battle for 4th position on the speedway. And we'll take a look maybe with a little turn 3, turn it up as we head into 10 laps to go. As once again, folks, as soon as I do the turn 3, turn it up, we get a yellow flag on the speedway. So once again, jinxing it out here, and we'll go turn it up for another restart here, and we'll take a look, see what happened to bring out our 7th yellow of the night. I believe it involved the 59 of Nathan Henry. We'll take a look off of turn number 4. We'll see if contact between Ron Hart, Jason Griffith, and Nate Henry. That will put Nate Henry facing the wrong way for our 7th yellow of the night. As we'll take a look one more time to maybe see what happened for that contact. Is actually, I don't know if iRacing has the issue. I believe that was the issue with the 59 of Nathan Henry turning on around. But now we are inside of 10 laps to go. These drivers, Mattingly with a healthy lead by the time it's all said and done. Now that lead gets erased. Ricky LeDuc able to run away from Lassiter. So we'll see what LeDuc can have to challenge for Mattingly in these closing stages. As once again, folks, this race is presented by Hubbco Metal Fabrications. If you're looking for some accessories to help your shop, whether that's some sheet metal work, some pipe bending, or even the Hubbco scissor lift for that pit stall, be sure to check them on out at hubcolifts.com. As Trevor Mattingly leads us back to green flag racing action. He jumps on it early, makes sure LeDuc can't get a good start, and we go back to racing action here as Mattingly gets away with a great start. LeDuc trying to find some traction right against the fence as they head down the backstretch here. As this time by, we'll do the turn 3, turn it up, and get a proper one here. As we once again get a yellow flag here on the speedway, we'll try and figure out what happened, as I believe the 311 machine of Anthony Thompson was involved. We'll take a look down into turn number 3 and 4 and see what happened. As the 51 of Ron Hart, trying to slide Bobby Mattingly, makes contact with the 331 up against the wall. Dave Payne with heavy contact, and we got a car that leaves the racing surface. The 331 of Anthony Thompson leaves the racing surface. Dave Payne with some heavy contact. So we'll jump on board with Anthony Thompson for that contact as we look at the decking. Looking back at the 51 of Ron Hart, you'll see him try and slide Bobby Mattingly. Mistime the slide job. You'll see him just get a piece of the left rear here from Anthony Thompson. And then from here on out, he's just an innocent bystander. Up and over he goes and out of the racing surface. He goes all the way out to the road, to the track entrance. Some big time contact for the 31 or the 311 and the 38 of Dave Payne. So that puts us under our 8th yellow flag of the race. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing action, Trevor Mattingly leads the way. Ricky LeDuc with a better restart in that second position. Does he have anything for our race leader heading into turn number 1? He'll stay to the top side, try and find some traction right against the wall. A little bit faster through the apex, but not quite the run down the backstretch. As we look a little bit further back, Eric Lake trying to put the moves on the 04 machine of Tanner Hutchins with that damaged 04 machine. They're both trying to make something work, but further on up, we got a little bit of a battle for our 3rd position. Michael Carter taking a look on Jacob Lassiter in the 151. Carter now looking to the inside. We'll pull a slider here in 1 and 2. Lassiter will cross him on over. They'll go side by side down the backstretch. We'll see if Lassiter will do the same. He'll make that inside work. Carter will stick it right against the fence and able to get the pass done. So Michael Carter up into the 3rd position, up into the podium where we can talk to him once again if he stays there. But that time by, we see open palm from the flagman. 5 laps to go around Port Royal for the Hubbco Metal Fabrications 50. As everyone kind of sorting themselves on out. Hutchins now to the back bumper of Bobby Mattingly. We see how close these guys are. Bobby Mattingly will go to the inside. Hutchins to the top side. Will try and make a run down the front stretch. Just barely not making contact with the back bumper of that 3 machine. As Mattingly able to hold off Hutchins here. This time by for our race leaders out there in front. We'll see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go for Trevor Mattingly to go back to back. But out there for the race lead, Ricky LeDuc, slide job. He'll try and take the race lead from Mattingly. They go door to door down the backstretch. This race isn't over just quite yet, folks, as Mattingly will cross him over here down the front stretch. He'll come door to door for the white flag. LeDuc down low, Mattingly up top. And we'll see the white flag. 1 more to go. LeDuc into the wall in 1 and 2. Mattingly down low and down the backstretch. Mattingly has one more chance. He'll slide on up. There'll be a drag race to the start finish, folks. As down the front stretch they come. Ricky LeDuc gets the job done. He'll win here at Port Royal. Trevor Mattingly will finish second. Michael Carter finishes in third. And man, that was an exciting finish for the main event as Ricky LeDuc gets the job done. Trevor Mattingly dominates the race except for the last 2 laps. And Ricky LeDuc off of turn number 4 gets the job done. He'll park it in victory lane here at the Port Royal Speedway for the Hubbco 50. As wow, what a finish, folks. We're going to go to commercial break. On the other side, we'll be talking to our top 3, so don't go anywhere. Alrighty, folks, we are back here at the Port Royal Speedway. We'll be dialing up our 3rd place finisher. He had to fight Lassiter for it. Able to get the job done to bring it home in the P3 spot. That'll be Michael Carter. Michael, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, man. Man, that was a tough battle for you here tonight. You know, early contact with, I think, the 37 of Marlowe. And then since then, it seemed like the handling on that 15 machine was very struggling. But somehow, you come back to the 3rd position. How was your race? It seemed like an up and down night a little bit for you, but still never really left the top 5.
Yeah, it was pretty rough there, man. Trying to run Marlowe clean there, threw a slider on him, and I mean, I guess he never lifted, but anyways, besides that, man, I just kept working that top, and it was good racing there with Jacob too. We ran each other clean, and I try to run everybody as clean as I can, man, and I don't know why stuff like that happens, but unfortunately it did. But yeah, we had a good night, man. Just had to battle with the ill handling car.
Yeah, that's always tough to do, Michael. As you know, with these things, you know, any sort of big hit slows them down quite a bit. You know, can move the rear end and have it all driving funky. Was it definitely a little bit different handling throughout the night with the damage and, of course, the changing track?
Oh yeah, it was a handful there, man. It was all over the place. It took all I had to hold on to her, and that the track slicks off here, and it changes a lot. So you run that middle a little bit there, and then of course you run that top, and you just got to be real smooth up there. You get into the wall. So yeah, it's a fun race. I mean, I had fun for the most part.
Yeah, it did look like a fun one when we got some green flags. You know, a lot of sliders and a lot of good racing, especially up front, Michael. And once again, you're in the podium talking to me. I mean, I can't complain too much with where you finished. How looking forward to Linear next week. A lot different, you know, a lot smaller of a track. Are you looking forward to Linear when we go there next week?
Oh yeah, that's probably that and Volusia is probably the best 2 race tracks on the sim for me. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to next weekend.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Michael. Well, before we let you go and celebrate your podium position once again here tonight at the Port Royal Speedway, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this 15 crew.
Yeah, I gotta thank you guys for putting this on, for broadcasting the turn 3. I gotta thank ASRC for putting this on. Them guys are great over there. They do a fantastic job. It's a well-run league. I believe Hubbco is the sponsor tonight, so I want to thank them. And once again, I got to thank my dad, Randy Carter Painting, CTO Motorsports, Kale Smith, Travis Anderson, Redline Race Designs, and all the fans out there watching. Thank everybody's got a part of this. Really appreciate it.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Michael. Well, once again, congratulations being able to talk with me at the end of the race. You put on a heck of a show, and best of luck to you next week at Linear.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Alrighty, folks, that was our second place finisher. Now we'll try and dial up our third place finisher, that being Trevor Mattingly. Trevor, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, Trevor. Man, that was a race for you. You know, another dominant race for you, but at the end, just barely losing at the line to Ricky LeDuc. Tell us a little bit about your race, because, man, that 13 machine seemed like it was on rails here once again.
Yeah, I felt good throughout that entire race. I mean, wish we wouldn't have had as many cautions, but there ain't nothing you can do about that. But I messed up with like 3 to go, and I had to get on the brakes a lot in order to not hit the wall. And I think I ended up getting past a little bit of a wall ride, but it's all good. He threw a slider in 1 and 2 and killed the wall, absolute, and just never lifted. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it did seem like he made fairly good contact with the wall in 1 and 2, but able to somehow keep that momentum. But yeah, Trevor, we rode on board with you at one time, and it seemed like you were just on a Sunday cruise in the middle of the race. I mean, that car looked like it was way hooked up, especially on that top side, even with it slicking on off.
Yeah, it definitely changed right there at the end. It wasn't all the way around the top, but there for a long time, I was just taking it lap by lap, corner, because you can mess up and ruin your car in one lap here. So I mean, you gotta stay on your toes. But gotta congratulate Ricky on the win there. I stole it right out from underneath me.
Yeah, he did, Trevor. I thought for sure you're definitely the car to beat when it was all said and done. But man, you were definitely dominant from all the recruitment races to last week, you know, and even this week, you know, picking up the heat win. For sure the most laps led and finishing second. I mean, that's nothing to laugh at with this competition as well, Trevor.
I appreciate it, man. There is a lot of good guys in here, and it's going to be a fun season for sure.
Oh, yeah, Trevor. Well, looking forward. We got Linear next week. How do you do on the small dirt tracks?
I guess we'll have to wait and find out. I usually run pretty good there.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Trevor. Well, before we let you go and celebrate this runner-up finish, I know that's not what you wanted after when it's all said and done with the race you had tonight. But before we let you go, I'm going to hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this 13 crew.
Yeah, I got to thank Zach and you for putting on the league and the broadcast and everything. And it's one of the best ran leagues, and I've only ran 2 races. Y'all do a heck of a job. I got to thank T-Mat Speed Shop, Aaron Kirby at FMS Rapid Graphics for the wrap. The Hot Lap Heroes. I know Brandon and Jacob both were in that race. I think Brandon had some bad luck, and not real sure about Jacob. But anyway, thank my buddy Tanner, Aaron, and Bobby for the spot and the heat races and everything, and telling me where everyone's running and this, that, and the other. I think that's it.
Alrighty, Trevor. Well, once again, talking to me in the booth, I think this will probably be a pretty reoccurring theme unless something crazy happens out there on track for that 13 machine. So, Trevor, you have yourself a great rest of the night, and I'm sure you'll be right back to your normal action at Linear next week. Have a good one.
You too, man. Appreciate it.
Alrighty. And the man of the hour, getting the job done in those last closing laps, stealing the win away. It is the 196 machine of Ricky LeDuc. Ricky, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I do.
Alrighty, man. All I gotta say is, wow, what a race by you. Tell us, what was going through your mind that last restart, and how'd you get the job done and steal that one away from Trevor like you did?
Man, dude, I thought the whole race we were just second place car. I've been struggling on dirt lately, and especially having to run so close to the wall. And I mean, there's literally no room for error. It's either you hit it or you don't, and you're gonna bounce off the wall. And we I slipped up, let I think it was Jason, his name was, by, and me and him had some good clean racing together. And I finally got by him, and I learned you gotta do the slider in 1 and 2. It sets it up better. If you do it in 3 and 4, then you're gonna just start trading sliders. And then I got to the leader, and I bumped him a little bit, and I backed out, because I didn't want to pass him that way. And I backed out too much, and I thought, man, I think that was it. And then with 3 to go, I just hit a couple laps right. He must have, not hit a couple laps right, and we were right back on his bumper. And then I just waited, and I threw the slider into 1, and it worked.
Yeah, Ricky, I tell you what, you were throwing some great sliders. I think throughout the race, it seemed like you battled almost everyone in the top 5 at some point. But at the end of the day, able to give Trevor Mattingly a run for his money and ultimately, pull the win off. That's saying a lot from this 196 car. I mean, that was definitely impressive. It looked like you were one of the best at the slide job. I mean, what'd you kind of learn with that slider line?
You have to drive it in and almost hit the inside wall there. At least in 1 and 2, I think there's 1 and 3 and 4 mile. And it's literally, you got to drive it in like you're gonna just destroy the wall, and then and turn left, and and just try your best to not hit the wall and get back in the throttle. And when I lost second place, when I dropped back to third, that was a failed attempt of the slider because I hit the wall. And then I just, a couple times I learned, like, all right, 1, you can't do it in 3 and 4 because you're gonna just start trading back and forth, and if you do it in 1, you get a better run after throwing the slider. So yeah, it hats off to Trevor as well. I mean, he ran a great race, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, Ricky, it was a blast to watch in those closing laps. And that last lap, you throw the slider in 1 and 2, and you knew it was coming in 3 and 4. What was kind of your mind? You probably knew at the apex, cut it low and hope for the better run on off to the start finish line to drag race him.
Yeah, so I mean, I threw the slider into 1 and 2, and he returned it back into 3 and 4, but he didn't actually come all the way up, and I could have stayed up top, but I really just know that there's so much momentum coming off of the top, so I just, I did a hard cut over because Trevor, he didn't even slide all the way up, so I just did a hard cut over and ran the bottom, and then that was just a big run off the corner.
Yeah, Ricky, I tell you what, it was picture perfect to get that job done. Pick up the win here for the Hubbco 50 at Port Royal. And I know, Ricky, you do a little bit of real-life racing, so if you want to tell the viewers at home, maybe what makes you so good here on the iRacing simulator.
Yeah, I mean, the iRacing simulator kind of helps you be good in real life, if you ask me. Yeah, I mean, I got to just thank, the Hubbco Metal Fabrication, I think, is who sponsored the race. Them, it was pretty cool of them guys, and everybody here at the series. Zach does a good job running the show, and you guys in the booth are great. And I got some real life sponsors as well. We don't have to go through that list, but they're a lot of great help here in West Michigan, so can't thank them enough. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Have a good night.
Alrighty, folks. I was muted, and I just pretty much said that was an awesome race. Can't wait to rewatch it. Congrats again to Ricky down in victory lane. And that will do it for our post-race interviews. Folks, it was an awesome show here at the Port Royal Speedway. The 96 machine able to get the job done. We'll run through the finishing order and wrap things on up. Ricky LeDuc in the 196 machine gets the job done. He steals the win away from Trevor Mattingly, who finishes second in the 13. Third goes to Michael Carter in the 15 machine. Fourth is Jacob Lassiter in the 151, rounding out the top 5. One of the biggest movers, the guy that fell all the way back, made his way back up to 5th. That is Blake Steele. Aaron Kirby in the 91 machine the biggest mover of the race here in the 91. 7th goes to Bobby Mattingly in the 3. 8th is Tanner Hutchins in the 04. 9th is Ron Hart in the 51. Rounding out the top 10 is Eric Lake in the X5. 11th goes to Dave Payne in the 38. 12th, Anthony Thompson in the 311. 13th is Brandon Marlowe in the 37. 14th, Jason Griffith in the 33. 15th is Stephen Hoffman in the 86. 16th, Noah Boucher in the 16. 17th goes to Michael Guerin in the 78. And rounding out the starting field of cars is the 59 of Nathan Henry. So, folks, thanks again for all tuning on in. Thanks again to all the live viewers, all the replay viewers checking it on out. I've been Brett the Jet from Turn 3 Racing Network in the booth. Be sure to check out Turn 3 Racing Network throughout the week for all sorts of great racing action. We'll catch you next week at Linear. Once again, we got to give a huge shout out to Hubbco Metal Fabrications. Be sure to check them out if you need some metal work done on that race car, or if you need that all-important hydraulic pit jack. Everyone stay safe, have a good one, and we'll catch you next week. I've been Brett the